everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Grapevine. We are still on the topic of Sunday school. Today it's going to be a little bit different. We are going to talk to the kids and ask them about their opinions. What do they like and what they don't like about Sunday school?
Also, we're going to be asking them, what topic do you like your servant to talk to you about?
And last but not least, do they like it when their parents are involved?
What do you like about your Sunday school?
I like that there's a lot of variety. I like that we can sometimes do hymns and we sometimes do Bible study. I like that sometimes we can get deep, and I like that we can eat in class because we're usually really hungry.
I like that sometimes the servants, they like do fun activities to teach us, and I think that's fun. And I also like that when we do hymns, I like doing hymns. So what I like about Sunday school is that we get to learn of hymns, and it's sometimes pretty fun. Sometimes you can really get interested in it, and you can learn a lot out of it.
Well, I like that we get to learn about God and get more into His presence, and when we go up to heaven, we can actually know a lot about Him.
The things that I like about Sunday school is that sometimes when you actually pay attention, you can get new stories, but that's only sometimes they bring up new stories.
What don't you like about Sunday school?
Sometimes I feel like we don't really learn anything. I feel like we kind of just, on Sundays, we just sit there and we just eat, and then we toss around jokes, and then we pray and we go home. At the end of the day, we don't take out as much as I would like to take out. Sometimes I feel like I don't even want to go. I just want to leave, or I want to just stay and go with you guys, with the grown-ups or with the adults, and go eat something and then play on my phone. I just don't want to go.
Why you don't want to go? Do you find it boring?
Yeah, it's boring and people just goof around and we don't learn anything. We just sit there. I feel like I could be doing something a lot better with my time.
Sometimes people joke around, sometimes I do it, but then sometimes I also don't. And I just want to finish and go outside and play soccer with my friends. But and sometimes they just take long, and I don't like taking a long time in Sunday school, because then we're gonna leave right after. We don't get time to play. So, and what I don't like is sometimes we just can't finish. Sometimes I kind of goof around sometimes, and we don't get to finish because I really want to get over with it and play, and we just don't really listen a lot. So that's why I don't like about it. Sometimes I get bored because we've already gone over it 10 times already, and I already know it, and I just don't want to learn it again.
And then what I don't like is that sometimes when we are answering a question, the boys start talking a little, and then when the teacher tries to make them stop talking, they just won't stop until we have to say, if you don't want, we're gonna tell your mom, and then they just won't stop. So
some things that I don't really like is because a lot of the time there are some people that are goofing off and not listening, so you have to stop every 5 minutes to tell them to be quiet. And almost all the time we get the same stories like we learned in the past year or so.
So, what is the topic that you would like your servant to tell you or talk to you about?
I want the servant to talk us more about, give us more details about what we're gonna do before we actually start. I want us to give an example about it. That's what I would like.
Do you want an application to what you're learning in Sunday school?
Yeah.
I feel like if we learned about more how to answer questions about our faith, because I feel like a lot of times in the real world we'll go out and people will question our faith, and we won't know what to say, and we'll just sit there and we'll be like, because we won't know what to say, and we don't have any facts to back up our faith. And I feel like that's really important, especially now at the age of 5th and 6th, 3rd and 4th, that we learn, because down the road it's really gonna come in handy.
Do you feel that you get some of the education that you really like the doctrines being taught to you, like you said, you want to learn about your faith and how to defend your faith and how to answer others when they question your faith. Do you feel that you're getting any of that right now or not at all?
We've never talked about it.
Do you ask questions about it? And if you do, or if you have done before, what was the reaction from the teacher? Did they welcome your questions or not?
Well, I feel like I haven't really asked any because I feel like I'm one of those people that like just goes with the curriculum. I won't like question the teacher because I feel like that's rude. But I feel like if I did like ask, I feel like my teachers would welcome the questions, but say like if you actually, I remember once someone asked in the classroom and they were like, what about blah, 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 and they were like, if you want to know more, then stay after class. And no one's going to stay after class because one, no one's going to like take more time out of their schedule, like that's really, we're supposed to be like going to play. So no one's gonna like skip out on the playing to learn more when they were just in the classroom. And if that was boring to them, then they're not gonna stay. Which is, I feel like if they really wanted to learn it, they would expect it coming from Sunday school. They're not gonna wait for it.
I would like learning about history, like about the saints and the apostles.
And do you have that already now, or do you want more of that?
Well, yeah, we have it, and I want like more of it too. And I also want more hymns because I like singing hymns.
I like to hear more about the Bible because like we usually get like one story and that's it, and then answer like 5 questions and then we're done.
But don't you have a Bible study on a certain
Yeah.
day of the week?
Except like I want more, and
More of the Bible study?
so we can go more into the presence of God.
The stuff that I would like for them to talk about would be like the stories that people, like most people wouldn't know, not like the stories that we, like Adam and Eve and stuff like that from like 2nd and 1st grade.
Like more of a Bible study or Bible stories?
More Bible stories.
So you enjoy the Bible story. Are your parents involved in Sunday school? How would you feel if your parents are involved in Sunday school?
Well, I'd feel happy that they're involved so that they can actually see what's going on and how I'm learning, and like if I need more practice and like to see what I've learned. So I'd be happy if they were more.
Well, I feel like our Sunday school class doesn't really do anything with the parents. All I know is that they have a group chat and I'm part of the group chat, but we don't really talk about things. It honestly never comes up, like the only
Just for
thing-
announcements?
Yeah, it'll just be like, we have a tasbeha, this whatever, and something like that, but no one even shows up because it's just no one wants to go. And because I feel like if you don't have time, if you don't have fun in the classroom, you're not going to want to do anything, with the people, and you know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of times when we're invited to things for like our Sunday school, like tasbeha, or like if there's like an activity that they're doing on like a Saturday, I won't want to go. I don't know why, I feel like if I'm not having fun in Sunday school, then I don't want to go. And I feel like our parents would only really know what's going on in Sunday school unless they're like, okay, what did you do? And I'd just be like, nothing. Or if like there's a choir, I'd be like, oh, there's a choir, I don't want to be in it because I don't like Sunday school.
My mom always tells me you should go, and tells me you should go learn the hymns and enjoy your time with your friends.
How would you like it if your mom decided to come to the class and just attend one time? Honest.
Well, I would feel kind of like, it would be nervous.
Embarrassed?
Yeah, because I don't want like my mom watching everything like I do.
My parents being involved, it wouldn't be so bad because then they would know, we're doing this today, and they don't really come when I come back. They don't really go and ask, oh, what did you learn today?
Do you tell them what did you learn?
No, not really, because they don't ask.
They don't ask. Good evening and welcome to another episode of The Grapevine. We're gonna continue on Sunday school topic. I'm Irene,
I'm Riham.
And I'm Susie.
and we have three wonderful guests.
I'm Mona.
George.
And I'm Andrew.
I would like to retouch on parents and parents' involvement in Sunday school. I know the servant cannot do it on his own. Like school, the teacher cannot do it on his own. He has to have the parent first on his side, on the same page, and involved. Like we have PTA, where parents can come to school and help, volunteer, and also in Sunday school. So how do you think parents can be involved and help with Sunday school?
I think it's going to vary from age to age, or by the different ranges of age. For us in 12th and college, they have enough homework and midterms and final exams and quizzes and reports and whatever else that they're going through. So maybe not giving them weekly homework. That might work for some, but for our group of kids, they don't want to be burdened with more homework. I think in the parents, I think it's a continuation of spiritual activities, reading the Bible together as a family, because any of the social issues that we find in our country or in the world today, there's always an answer for it from the Bible. So if the parents are reading the Bible with their kids, then at least there's a foundation there for the kids to then be able to attack those different issues, whatever they are, from that spiritual perspective. So I think in the college, it's more reading the Bible daily, getting into the habit with the family, as opposed to more homework for them.
So I feel like the parents need to have a very strong relationship with the servants of their kids to just, always follow up. What's the kid, going through in school? Are they popular? Like, what is their life outside of church? Because at the end of the day, you'll only see that child for like 2 hours on one day of the week. You have no idea, without that parent and without talking to that parent, how that kid's life is going outside. Because at the end of the day, Sunday school is not always, you're not just going to come to Sunday school and teach a lesson to 15, 20 people and that's it. You have to, this is like the hard part of it. So you follow up, okay, what is this child, suffering through in life? How can I help him?
So I will add a little bit as a parent. It is very important to be involved with your child's activities and in their life, understand it, and coming from a different country to here, you will, as a parent, you will face challenges. You will not know everything that's going on. Ask a lot of questions. Find someone who has been here in the States for a while. Ask them for their experience. Have open communication and discussion with your children is very important. And as George said, stay in touch with the servants. Most of these servants have been in the States for a long time. Some of these youth have been, they were born and raised here, so they understand what goes on in society, as well as if the parent has any concerns about their children, bring it to the servants. It's very important. I mean, I had parents approach me. Hey, we want you to talk to the girls about this. We want you to discuss this with them. It's easier if you are to open that topic with them than mom talking to them. It's fine. It's very good. The Sunday school and the church and the home work simultaneously together. I mean, if the home thinks that it's going to be the total responsibility of the church or the Sunday school, that's not going to work. That is just not going to work. You're absolutely right. The parents spend Monday through Sunday with the kids. Church and Sunday school servants spend an hour or 2 hours. So I will touch a little bit about the elementary, even though that I haven't served in elementary for a while now. But it's very important for the parents to be involved with their kids since elementary school, because you develop this habit, this open communication. Like on a daily basis, ask your kids, how was their day at school? share with them, how was your day? So then when you're asking them about their school day, it's natural and normal to ask them, how was your Sunday school? What did you guys talk about today? What was the story about? What did you learn? What are we going to do together this entire week regarding this lesson or this discussion that you had? And, it grows with the kids. When they go into middle school, hey, what was the discussion today about? Are we going to do anything together? For example, 7 and 8 nowadays we're talking about, or we talk to them about Lent, apocalypse. We're talking about resurrection, and one exercise we ask the kids to do is, hey, come and attend part of the Pascha and try to attend apocalypse. The family needs to do that as a family. Go to church together, attend the liturgies together. As Andrew said, pray together, read the Bible together. It's very important.
I think those are great suggestions, and I completely agree. I think the parents should be very involved as well. I want to ask you also, are ways for you to get parents involved? Do you do visitations, or do you call on the children who haven't come for a while and try to encourage them to come, or text them, or do you have like a WhatsApp group that has like all the kids that are in it, or maybe even a group just for the parents where you're reaching out and letting them know this is what we learned, or sending emails? I mean, are there ways that you're engaging the parents as well, or by doing visitations even just with the children, not necessarily with the parents being there at the visitation, maybe they're in another room, but how are you engaging the parents or engaging the children, especially the ones that are not coming often?
So we do visitations, and we actually, this WhatsApp group, yes.
And is it only for the one that you don't come, or visitations include everybody?
Everybody.
Everybody. Which is great.
And we have these WhatsApp groups for the parents and for the youth. And it's actually very interesting when you have these WhatsApp groups for the youth, and then you just, casual talking, you get to know them more. They are more engaged. You know what goes on and how.
Yeah, I think Abuna Bishoyel Anthony, we talked to him about this before. Remember that? We had one episode about social media, I think. And he was talking about how when you really hear what they say and what they talk about, you learn a lot about these children. Yes. Agree.
Yeah, that's very true. So the younger elementary, they have WhatsApp group with the parents, and they tell them like what's the homework for this week and what the kids need to do, and they bring it back next week. For us, for middle school, we use the WhatsApp group more for letting them know if we're having outings or get together.
So utilizing the modern life to to serve them.
That's
to,
right.
To communicate and
Yes.
serve them.
I feel like when you do go for visitations, yes, it's very important to just sit with the child and see what's going on in their life, but it's also important to get a feel for, how that household is functioning. Like Andrew was saying, does this household, is their target Christ and being like that? Do they read the Bible every day together? And you can kind of just get a feel from that, and then it helps you know how to communicate with the parents, know what they're lacking, so you could help them there.
I want to come back to the point of the participation from the parents and the involvement. I remember when my daughter was more younger, like kindergarten maybe or pre-K. I used to go to Sunday school class with her all the time, and that's okay, and then that's appropriate, and that's welcomed. Okay, now they grow up a little bit, and you cannot show up to their class anymore. They do not want you there. They get embarrassed.
Yes.
I don't think the servants want you there either. A lot of times, yes, because the Sunday school classroom is really small and tight, and if you have every parent there, that's not. So when I was facing that challenge with my daughter, when she's complaining and rejecting and doesn't want to go, a lot of times, like, I really want to go in, and I hope I wish I can go and watch and to see why is it that she really does not like, or what is it. But she wouldn't let me. She would not let me. She will protest if I even suggested that.
She will not. And it will be very embarrassing for her to have mom with her in the class.
Yeah, they're growing up and they're finding their own unique identities, and they become independent from that young age, and so they want to find their own identity apart from mom and dad, where they see themselves as more, I can do this on my own. I don't need mom and dad to help me, even though they still do need mom and dad to help them, but they won't admit it. So yeah, at that age, but you know, not in 12th and college. In 12th and college, they're completely like, there's a huge separation, and you know, forget everybody. It's
Exactly. They'd be like, those aren't my parents. I don't know. They might be visiting from Egypt, but they're not with me.
Yeah.
They'll be dying their parents really quick.
I want to go back to what Mona said, and that was you, right, Mona, when you said the parent should communicate the issues with the servant. But I have, like, won't your child feel exposed or embarrassed if you share something with the servant that, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Some things should be left in the family.
Something like that. Or, you know, all kids, they go through phases and different ages, and each age has its own problems. So they're going to go through a lot. So sharing one thing with a servant, do you think this is a positive thing or negative?
The servants are mature and they understand what confidentiality means. They are not going to go and tell the child, mom or dad brought this up one, and the servants are wise and mature. They're not going to address that topic directly or address the child directly. That's why we actually have pre-servant class. We have the servants go through pre-servant class, and we teach them how to handle situations like that. So, I mean, unless it is something really very private to the family, then the parents should address that with Abuna. Otherwise, I mean, servants again are mature and.
I'm not questioning the servant. When the servants start dealing with or helping the child with the issue, that's, you know, because they're not stupid. Our kids are very smart as young as they're, you know, 2-3 years old. So they, you know, if he shares something and he feels the servant has been changed or treating him differently or spotting on some things that he needs to work on, he will figure out that, oh, mom or dad talk to this.
There's
you know
also a level of wisdom that recently a mom called saying, I need you to speak with my son, but don't tell him that mom is telling you. And so I approach it from a perspective of I have something I need to talk to a kid about, which I already knew about because through visitations, I already knew about those things. So I didn't need for mom to tell me. But for mom, it was like a new thing, and it's something that Abuna is aware of, the Father Confession is aware of. So that's the perspective. I think that it's a multidisciplinary team where in the hospital you have a physician and a pharmacist and a nurse and a multidisciplinary team, many people looking at things from different perspectives. It's the same way with the Sunday school kids. As the parents know something, the Sunday school servants may know something, the Father Confession or the priest may know something, and it's not a plan of attack on how do we attack the kid, it's a plan on how do we treat the symptoms and the underlying issue for what is going on in the kid's life. And so I may know something, and if it's something that's really out of my scope, then I will probably approach Abuna and I'll say, Abuna, I want to get your wisdom on this. How should I approach this? And they may say, I know about this. I'll talk to the kid. I'm not going to mention anything. I'll call them. I'll do whatever. And so it may be something where the parents are not doing something or doing something at home that Abuna needs to address that I can't do anything about. So it goes back to, again, the parents, the kids are going to follow whatever the parents are doing, whatever they see at home. And so it's, again, a multidisciplinary team where Abuna is involved, the servants is involved, the priest is, the parents are involved, and that's the approach.
Do any of you have like a story or an experience that you'd like to share with us about maybe an obstacle that you faced, maybe a hard case, or somebody that really had a lot of maybe rejection and kind of like was away from Sunday school for a while, and how you were able to bring him or her back. Any kind of stories like that? Anybody?
I think there's, unfortunately, there's many lost sheep in the church, and the story seems to be involved in church, then start going to school, and unfortunately being told that certain social subjects are taboo or haram to talk about in church. But the church isn't this place where everybody comes and is perfect. It's a place where all these people are coming to find answers, to be, they're sick and they need healing. And so the kids need to come to the church, feel that they are actually in a safe environment where they can ask the you know how they always say, can I ask a dumb question? Can I ask a, no, there is, that's the question that I want to hear. If you're not asking those questions, then, you know, there's something wrong. I'm not making it a welcoming environment. And so we need to have the church be a welcoming environment, because unfortunately, once the kids go away and they start to fall away, it's very difficult to bring them back. But by the grace of God, through the watering and the planting, and as we do, God gives the growth, and He will give grace in that time to bring them back. It's possible, but it requires a lot of follow-up, a lot of reminder that, you know, as St. Paul wrote in his letter and said, you know, the young man who had relations with the stepmother, well, you know, if he repents, bring him back to the church. So it's not just he made a mistake and cut him off. It's he made a mistake, he repented, bring him back. And that's what we need to remind the kids that are the Pharisee, the Pharisaical kind of prodigal son that stayed at home, who thinks he never did anything wrong, that the son that went away, the prodigal son that went away and committed the mistake and came back, they both have mistakes in their lives, and the church is just this place for them to find that healing and to be a safe place for them.
Yeah, I like your point. Is very important.
So before we end our episode, is there anything that you would like to add to our topic today?
I just would like to add one point. As we mentioned before, it's healthy to revisit the curriculum and update it every few years. It would be very helpful if to keep in mind how we divide the curriculum. We want to make sure that we have topics that would cover the spiritual topics, lessons that cover the Bible study, history, dogma, apologetics, social. We want to try to have a balance versus one dominates over others. I think that all these topics are very important for our youth.
Thank you, Mona. And our time came to end. And to thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you, Susan, Mona, George, and Reham. Until we see you next week for another episode. Have a good night.